3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? That's not supposed to happen. Thought I'd fix that. They told me they fixed it. Jesus. You can't trust a good droid these days. Anyways, welcome to Ash on Comics, where we do everything professionally and on a top level that you will not see anywhere else. And tonight's stream is brought to you by Rockstar. Oh, man. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Sorry for the rocky start. It is Storytime Live. If you're here for the first time or the second time, or you don't know how you got here and you're wondering, what the frick am I listening to? It is Ash on Comics. And this is me doing a Storytime stream. Basically, I read a comic or two live over the air. We have fun. A bunch of regulars hang out in the chat. We all love comics. We talk about comics. And for about the first half an hour, it's a bunch of chit-chat about various topics and whatever. I look at the chat. You guys bring up stuff. Something strikes my fancy. We talk about it. Try to keep it comic-related. Oh, I got to set the timer. That's the new thing that I'm doing. There you go. You heard it. So in a half an hour, we'll be reading the book. And this is for some of those people, for whatever reason, there's just some people that don't like talking about comics or listening to other people talk about comics. They just want to be here for the comic. And if you're listening to this afterwards, if this is not live for you, and you just came here because you're like, I just wanted to hear the comic or whatever, that's understood. Basically 30 minutes from now, you can just fast forward, just grab that little thing at the bottom of the video. You just drag it over approximately 30 minutes. And when you see me understand how to work my thingy. Wait, I just said work my thingy. Oh man. When you seriously, why is this not working? When you see this, there we go. When you see this up on the screen, then you know we're getting into the comic. But until then, back to this. Man, I am just not with it. I told you before, I'm running on fumes. I did not get much sleep at all last night, and in fact, part of the reason I'm a little bit late, as always, I'm like the Flash. I feel like Barry Allen, like constantly tardy. I had to run down to the convenience store and grab a couple of energy drinks because I was like, I'd be nodding off in the middle of the stream. At the very least, I would have very low energy, and doing this, you try to want to bring some energy and some enthusiasm. I don't think anyone wants to listen to me just droll on, or maybe you do. Rockstar. Melissa Harris is first in the chat. Good to see you, Melissa. Sorry. My mic went dead for a second. See you guys at 1, she says. Well, I guess it's 1. Lord is second. Ed Brewer is third. He says, I must admit, not too much into Green Arrow, but I have been enjoying the story. You and I are much alike. I'm not too much into Green Arrow either, but I have been enjoying this story. A good story is a good story, right? I say this all the time. The film, the Lego Movie. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Lego Movie. I remember that movie proved to me that anything can be good. I'm not going to go into the whole story about how I showed up at the theater. Anyways, I went to the theater one day. It was super crowded. I was going to see something else. I was like, what the hell is theater so crowded for? This movie that I'm going to see is like, it's been out for weeks. What? There's nothing really out? Oh, it's the Lego Movie. Really? This parking lot's packed for the Lego Movie? And then, of course, weeks following, people were raving about it. I ended up seeing the movie a couple years later on video with my buddy and his kids, and I was like, holy shit, this movie is really freaking good. If you haven't seen the Lego movie, do yourself a favor, especially if you have kids. But it's not, you will enjoy it as an adult. It's a very well done movie. It's a feel good movie. It's funny. It's entertaining. And I'm like, it's a movie about Legos. My God. So now I'm just like, well, I guess anything has the potential to be good. Let's see. Dragon Ball Talk is here. He's here for now, he says. I got to keep him entertained. Are you not entertained? Let's see. Ed was he's razzing me for not starting at 10. I said we did start. It's like movies with the trailers, right? You know, you go see a movie at 10 o'clock. When you sit down at 10, it's not that the movie starts. The movie typically starts like at 10:15 because you got to watch all the trailers and stuff first. And then Ed says, great answer, Ash. Well, let's be real. This doesn't start until you do the countdown. Yeah, let's be real. I'm bad at starting on time. I do my best. I really do. The reason I do everything that I do with the screen coming on first and making you wait, it's not there to annoy you, I assure you. It's there to kind of help have a consistency to the process. I know some streamers that'll be like, hey, I'm streaming and it's at, X o'clock or whatever, so I'd show up at X o'clock. Not there. Like, be 20 minutes later, there's no stream. You're like, what the heck's even going on? At least when you see the stream starting soon, you know that I'm connected. It's live. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Let's see. Doesn't start till the music starts, says Manya. Good point, says Ed. T-Limp says, or does it really start when the music ends? Oh. Counterpoint. Ed says, Rockstar been getting your money lately, Ash. Well, yeah, actually, I mean, I'm telling you what, I have become a recent fan of dollar stores. They built a dollar store next to the grocery store that I saw down the street that I go to. It was like last year they put it in. And, dollar stores, I've gone to dollar, they're fine. This one, man, I'm just all the time. And they have Rockstars for $1. Now, granted, they're the 12-ounce cans, not the one I get from the convenience store. This is a 16-ounce can. The 12-ounce can, so it's like the size of a Red Bull. But they're $1. So that's why I've been getting those. It's just nice when you got to wake up, you haven't had sleep or whatever, to have one in the fridge and just be like, oh, okay, get a little bit of pep me up. And then, like I said, tonight I was running on fumes. So at about 9:30 my time, I rebooted my computer so it'd be good to go. And as it was rebooting, I zipped down to the corner convenience store and grabbed me some Rockstar. I did it for you guys. That's because I care about you. Ash still needs to set up his Ash on Politics channel. I don't know if I really want to do that. Oh my goodness, my stars and garters. Eric Breen is in the house. Oh, he's got to work in the morning. Have a great stream. At least he's here to tell us he's not going to watch tonight. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate. Just get some rest and have a good day at work. I don't know if you're even hearing me at this point. Let's see. Dragon Ball says, ready for the story. Who else is? Well, you got a little bit of time to wait. I like making Dragon Ball wait. It's fun. So I guess I made it down to the end of the chat. I need to adjust my mic. Hold on a sec. There we go. I think that's a little better. Yeah, I gotta my mic is, I got one of those Yeti mics, and it's on like a mic stand, like a musician mic stand. It's on a little boom arm, and it reaches across, and whatever. But sometimes, it just sags after a while because these mics are big, heavy mics. I don't know why I just describe everything. That's the way to keep from the dead air, I guess, is just constantly whatever's in my mind. Hey, look, there's a piece of paper on my desk. I'll just start talking about that. Snatchface the Fool is here. He says, "Sup, comic people." Good to see you, Snatchface. Make a DBZ item mail drop vid. I guess there's side chatter about someone else's channel in my channel. That's I guess that's all good. So let's talk about some comics. I like going to Comixology to get deals on comics. I've really kind of embraced digital in a limited fashion. That sounds kind of weird. But I just don't have room. I don't want to buy all the physical comics. Even if money was no object, I just don't want to have that many physical books. Like, I don't want to devote rooms to books. I have way too many as it is. So digital is a great way. I did this a while back with my movie collection. Almost all my movies are all digital now. And the only thing I buy on Blu-ray is stuff that really is like special to me, you know, that like is like the best of the best, the top 5%, you know. And then the rest of the stuff I can just have digital and it's fine. I used to have a wall, like a literal top to bottom, ceiling high wall of DVDs, just hundreds of them. You know, I lost a lot of movies. I won't go into the reasons why, but that sucks I lost that, but it's not the end of the world, to be honest. Most of the stuff I really care about, I got back. And music, kind of the same way. I tossed all my CDs years ago. I don't even remember how I got rid of them. I just have all my stuff ripped to MP3. And, you know, if any audio files are going to be like, "Oh my God, Ash, MP3s is your favorite." Yeah, but you can get raw format. And so, like, the certain music I need to be like that. Again, you can keep certain DVD or CDs, or I'm not going to go vinyl. Vinyl's too much. And now I'm doing without comics. And same with books. I used to have a moderate book collection of all my favorite books I used to like to collect in hardcover. And that fills up some bookshelves pretty quick. So I don't have those anymore. It's just better. I had just too much stuff. But digitally, anyways, that's what my whole point here is. The digitally, you can get a bunch of things and it doesn't take up space. And oftentimes you can get some super, super good deals that you would not be able to pay physically, which I really like. So I go and check occasionally, and this is a bad period of time, apparently. There's nothing. Oh, these Blade Runners are still here. 99 cents a piece. I recommend this series quite a bit. I think you guys have heard me say that. Barbarella. Jeez. All right, well, that's boring. Speaking of boring, Berserker is out. Did you guys go to the comic book store today or yesterday? I did. I went today. And I was thinking about making a haul video. I didn't get that many books. But I decided, I didn't know this was coming out today. And I also didn't know that this guy right here, Matt Kindt, I've talked about him before. He's one of the best writers in comics. He was writing this? Are you even kidding me? So yeah, I picked it up. It's oversized. It's nice and thick. That's what she says. And I've read it, and it's totally worth it. Spoiler alert. I'm going to do a video review of it. I probably won't go in depth. I won't do an Ash. I'll just do a basic review video of this. And just a spoiler. If you're watching now, it's good. Like, really good. And here's what the art looks like. I wasn't really a big fan. That's my one biggest gripe about the book. It's not that it's bad art. It's just not that it's good. It's fine. And I'm like, this book is so good. I want it to be incredible. The writing reminds me quite a bit of how I felt when I read Exo Manowar, the Matt Kent Exo Manowar series. You know, from Valiant, the one with the big yellow trade dress across the top, like the big yellow bar, Exo, and it's like you recognize. If you guys remember that series was incredible, and it had just beautiful art. This book, I wish that artist was doing this. It's really tough when a book is so good. Like when a book's mediocre and the art's not that good, you're like, okay, whatever, it's fine. When the book's really good, you're like, oh gosh, it could have been even more. It's $4.99, but it's 48 pages. Boom only charged an extra $1 for a double-sized first issue. So bravo to you, Boom, because they have been known to do really bullshit things. In fact, I stopped collecting Firefly from Boom because of their bullshit. They would do these like Firefly one-shots for $7.99. And I was like, what the, why? I don't, and even though it's like, yeah, it's a one-shot, it just annoyed me that they were so predatory. So I just stopped buying those. I was like, whatever. I don't like what you guys are doing. But Boom in this past year has been doing some really good stuff. This Berserker book, it feels nice in the hand. It looks great. I don't like that there's a bazillion covers for it. But it's worth buying. Little story about this. I didn't know it was coming out. I found out last night. I was talking to Vankman on our Discord, and he told me about it, and I was like, oh, you got that? That's out? And he was like, yeah. And so I was like, well, it's too late to call the store. So I had to get up today to do work. I didn't get down to the store until just after noon. And I was like, please, did you guys get Berserker? Because I didn't see it on the shelf. It's like, did you guys even get Berserker? And she's like, yeah, one of the ladies, the staff there. And I was like, oh, I don't see it on the shelf. She's like, oh, I might have one. And I'm telling you what, this is the same thing I say all the time. Be nice to your comic store workers. Be nice to them. And you will reap rewards. So there was basically one left that she had for herself. She hadn't found it yet. So this other guy was standing there, and he had like a special. He went and bought one of the special variant covers that cost a ton of money. And then he had this cover. And he's like, here, you can have this cover one if you want. I'm going to get this other one. And I was like, really? So yeah. And then she was going to give me anyways, long story short, I ended up basically, he gave me gifted it, and I gifted him one back. So it kind of worked out. It was a nice, like, comic book love moment. Like, don't make it weird. But it was like the coolness, like people like, hey man, thanks for the book. Here, you can have this one now. Like, so that worked out really cool. I recommend this book. Let's see what I'm just ignoring the chat as I'm sitting here going into La La Land and let's see. Dollar stores are righteous for good deals and great stuff. A really good ravioli, the boil from scratch kind from there, plus a great chocolate chip cookie and brownie combo bar mix. Oh, okay, interesting. I just get snacks. They get the movie theater popcorn. That's all like bagged up. I buy there like for $1 a bag, and I love movie theater popcorn. Or you can get like, chips and snacks. Sometimes I get, oh my God, I haven't seen them lately, but they had for a while my new favorite candy. It was gummy. They were nerds. Wait, no. They were gummies, but like coated in nerds. I was like, two of my favorite candies. And they don't have those anymore. Let's see. I like the zoom in on stuff in comic when it's digital. Oh yeah, that's another cool advantage. Being able to zoom in on the digital stuff. Someone needs to do a parody of Deadpool, not Wompool. How about Dadpool? I don't think Deadpool needs a parody. Deadpool already is a parody. So let's see. Did we just get someone joining in? Zach Richards. Oh, He's left. We almost had a guest. Don't know what happened. Sorry. Rania says, good evening, everyone. Keanu Reeves is Wolverine. Dude, this book, by the way, is hyper violent. If you like violent, gory, this book's going to be for you. Joe Corallo is in the house. Welcome, Joe. He says, I've hung out at Matt Kent's studio in St. Louis. He's a cool guy. That's awesome to know. It's nice when the people you're a fan of are also turn out to be cool people. Maga Bats is in the channel. I haven't seen you, Maga Bats, in a long time. For those who may not recognize, I don't know. I don't think he's hiding out. This is Sergeant Bats. You guys may remember. He says he likes the art. I don't hate the art. It's Ron Garney. I feel like he's doing a little bit of a Frank Miller homage here. It looks more that way inside the book. It definitely fits the book. You won't hate it. Like I said, I'll talk more about it when I do a video. But it's worth it. High recommend book. And Bats, I figured this would be up your alley. Let's see. Snatch Faces, I hate Ohio. Last night it was 60 degrees. Tonight is 17. Yay. Wow, that's some real sissy sounding shit right there, Snatch Face. I thought better of you. Tehillim says, enjoyed him on Ninjak. Yeah, I forgot he did Ninjak. Black Badge by Matt Kent is awesome. He's got another series out right now called Fear Case. I did a video on the first issue. Boom's Dune book is good, says Doug Johnson. Welcome, Doug. Boom made a bunch of Power Rangers one-shots that were $7.99, but they tied into the main story, so you were forced to buy them. Yeah, that's what I was feeling with the Firefly shit. I felt it was really exploitive. I was like, F you guys. just put out a normal book we can just enjoy. But this is a good book. I did not... DC's making it much easy for me to buy their competition, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Zack says, I forgot that I don't have my headset. Zack came into the stream without a headset. Everyone, don't let him forget that anytime soon. We didn't want to hear Richards anyway, says Snatchface. Oh, damn. That's not nice. Zach's a cool guy, man. So now be shamed by the other four Zachs. Let's see. Snatchface the Fool. I know. He has awful takes. I hear he likes Riley Rossmo art. Okay. Tehillim's talking and mentioning the Crimson Flower book. That's out. I don't even know about that book. So I went to the comic store. I picked up some books today. Got a lot of good books. Got the new Oblivion song, which is still 30 issues in. And I've been saying it since issue number 1. This is one of the best independent books out there. It's awesome. Robert Kirkman, highly recommend. Also, the new Firepower issue is out, number 9. Have not read it yet, but you can guarantee the next Unnamed Indie Comic Show will be talking about this issue. This is definitely one of my favorite books to read. Firepower is a ton of fun. Berserker I already mentioned. And another book that came out I was not aware. 2 books. 2 books came out this week that I was not expecting. Otherwise, I would have gone down on Wednesday. The other book is Noctera, which was formerly going to be called Nocturna. Then there was some BS. Let's do it. I don't know. Some legalese things. And so now we get Noctera, which honestly I feel is a better name. Nocturna seems kind of generic. But Noctera actually kind of fits the story better to me. So I feel maybe sometimes things work out for the best. This is by Scott Snyder. Always mix these two up. Zack Snyder. Scott Snyder and Tony S. Daniel, which, speaking of Bats, I think this is one of Bats' favorite artists. This is a good book. This is a really good book. This is Scott Snyder doing what Snyder, like, this is Snyder at his best. I was really impressed. At first I was like, oh look, it's another badass woman book, and she's so cool, and she's got the demon thing going on, and fighting. I was just like, this has been a thing since Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It is becoming a tired cliche. And is she badass? She's kind of badass, but it doesn't feel that when you read the book. Like, that is it's Scott telling a cool story about what happens one day when the world goes dark. And things, I don't want to say too much about it, because things start happening, changing the world, and it creates an interesting fantasy world on modern Earth. And it gives us an excuse to tell the story and this character, which we're learning about. I also picked up the new Batman book, 106. I wasn't gonna. It's not on my pull list. I pulled it off, but Jorge Jimenez is easily one of my favorite artists working today. And I love this cover, by the way. This is just gorgeous cover. And I was like, I've been buying Batman through the Tom King. I can buy at least one Infinite Frontier Batman and just see. It's one book, whatever. And then I found a copy they just had on the shelf for whatever reason. I don't have a picture of it. If I do a video, you'll see. It's a Birthright. Birthright's another one of the awesome books. Joshua Williamson, super awesome book. Out by Image, Skybound Entertainment. It's Birthright issue 17, but it's a special Comic-Con exclusive issue with a Negan cover. And it's funny. It's a Negan battling the main character of Birthright on the cover. And it's just, I don't know. I like Birthright a lot. And I was like, that's cool. And they had it just for $4.99, which is, the book's $3.99 cover price. Like, that's a cool. I mean, I like the book. I like having cool shit like that. So, anyways, that's what Ash is doing with comics. As a little sneak peek at my comic haul. What have you guys been getting? Let's see. Magabat says, I want to read Noctera. Yeah, I think you should read it, Bats. Because I know you enjoyed some of Snyder's work. I think you enjoyed his New 52 Batman, if I remember correctly. And I know you love the artist, Daniel. I'm spacing on his name already. Let's see. Bat says, I'm going to read Firepower and Trade. I have to wait 5 months. That's a shame, buddy. That's a damn shame. It's a good book. Firepower is rad. I'm so impressed that Kirkman can write different ways, because Firepower is such a different book than Oblivion Song. Not just in like genre, but also in tone, in style. Like Oblivion Song it's very much a sci-fi, plot-driven mystery. Like, what's going on? What is this other world? It's very, that's why you're reading it, to discover the plot and what's happening and the twists and turns. Firepower is so straightforward. It's a kung fu book, but it's got family, and it's about what family means to each other. It's just so much more simple. It's kind of like, it reminds me kind of like what a Spider-Man book should be. That's why I recommend it to people. I tell people, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, or what Spider-Man represents as a type of a comic book, just fun, simple adventures, lighthearted, Firepower feels like that. Let's see. Ronnie says, if I recall correctly, Ash liked the Rossmo art on Martian Manhunter miniseries, not in general. I don't know if I'd say I liked his art on it, but I found that it worked. I didn't. There were definitely parts of that book, because Martian Manhunter is essentially like an amoeba, right? He's this shape-changing amoeba. He's got no physical form. Like, he's got physical form, but you know what I'm saying? And Rossmo was able to capture that. Plus the villain, it really was. I think Rossmo might be an interesting choice to do a Venom book. Let's see. Damn, I have to get on that new Firepower. Started reading it because you were covering it. I freaking loved it. Amazing first issue. That's good, Snatchface, because the first issue is probably the weakest of the book of them all. If you're gonna read Firepower, I'd tell people get the original trade first, the Prelude, Volume 1. I think it's called Volume 1 Prelude. Get that. If you start on issue 1 without it, I guess it'll work, but I don't recommend it. Teelam says, definitely check out Peach Momoko's Demon Days. The story wasn't quite what I was expecting. Everyone loves Peach Momoko. Avengers Mech Strike and Man Bat are a ton of fun. Yeah, I did a video on Mech Strike. I was shocked. It didn't suck. I totally did a video on it. Oh, there's the alarm. I totally did a video on Mech Strike thinking, oh, this is going to be just god-awful terrible. I can't wait to like rip this book to shreds. And it was actually a fun book. I mean, not for me. I don't want to collect the series. But I think it definitely is going to have an audience. People who like MCU. I think it will go well over with younger crowd, kids. It's just a fun book. It doesn't really do anything wrong. Teelan says, my LCS tried to get me interested in Oblivion Song. It didn't really win me over. Well, that's too bad. It's too bad. I will say, you should read the first story arc or the first trade of Oblivion Song. The first couple of issues don't make a lot of sense. So I don't think it's necessarily going to pull people in off those, especially because the art's not my favorite. I really enjoyed it. I was predisposed, though. I like the style of book that Oblivion Song is. So I was grabbed by the first issue. But definitely by the end of the first arc, when you start to see like, oh, this is what this book is going to be about, is going to give you a much better or more accurate information of whether this book is going to work for you or not. The first couple of issues are just going to seem kind of meaningless, I think. Let's see. Snatchway says, first fight in Firepower has as much comedy as it does action. It's fantastic. No argument there. Dealer says, Bats, Bendis is good, but only in Jinx World. Bats responds, Jinx World sounds like a place I never want to visit. Yeah, me neither. None of the Jinx World stuff looks interesting to me, and some of it just looks like creepy, like Pearl with all that photo, like the Photoshop, like they just literally like did Photoshop like image effect, like they just put filters on it. Just the art is like, really, you're just gonna do photo tracing? It just looks, it looks creepy. Zack says, oh dude, number 2 threw some wild twists in there. This ain't how hunting? What? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Kirkman is better in trade for me because I can read his trades in one sitting. I guess you can read any trade in one sitting. Like, I mean, okay, sure. The trades are going to be enjoyable. In 5 months, when you read the trade, it'll be enjoyable. Me, when a book is really good, I just like enjoying it month after month after month, and not having to necessarily wait and then binge it and enjoy it for a day and be like, oh, it's amazing, and then boom, moving on. I did a big talk about this on the whole Netflix model. I hate how Netflix just dumps their show. Here it is. so much better, I think, when you get into a good show and you're like around it for a long period of time. People are talking about it. And you get to like, do what we're doing now. We're talking about books. And I got a show that I'm doing that every month we're talking about the next issue of Firepower. So we get to celebrate it, theory craft. I don't know. To me, I think that adds a lot to it. There's other books that aren't quite as good, and those are the ones I would rather do in trade because I'm like, I'm curious about this, but not enough to pay $4 every month. I'll just wait. Melissa is triggered. Melissa, I'm sorry to trigger you. Every time you mention New 52, it's garbage, and I'm glad that Dan Didio got canceled and he ruined Batman and Harley Quinn and Superman. Well, Melissa, I understand your sentiments, but I would take New 52 over Future State any day of the week. I was not approving of what Dan Didio was doing in a lot of things, but he was better than what's going on right now. That's the sad truth. And this was something that we talked about in the past when people, before Dan Didio got fired, and everyone was like, so many people would argue, like, fire Dan Didio, and I was one of them. Fire Dan Didio. And then there was like, well, let's say we get what we want. Let's say we do fire Dan Didio. Doesn't mean his replacement's going to be better. And I can say pretty confidently now that that's come to pass. That the replacement for Dan Didio is far, far worse. So that sucks. Let's see. A single issue shouldn't only last 5 minutes for $4. Well, you're right about that. You shouldn't. If you're reading an issue in 5 minutes, you're going through it too fast, buddy. Slow down. Let's see. Zack Snyder ruined Superman. I personally prefer classic DC. Zack Snyder did not ruin Superman. If he only ruins Superman if the only Superman you choose to ingest is movies, of which there's been 5 now. Like, he made an alternate take story that you don't have. It is not part of the DC universe. That the Man of Steel movie has nothing to do with the comics. It's just it's a what if story. So he can't ruin it. Now, Bendis, on the other hand, he literally did ruin Superman. And what Bendis has done is far worse than the Zack Snyder Superman, in my opinion. Batman, Robin Tomasi have been a part of New 52. It was a great run. New 52 had some failures. Overall, I give it a thumbs down. But there was some good stuff in New 52. And Batman was one of those. So, there we go. Zach says, I would argue Snyder's Superman is the best we've gotten since Reeve. Well, it's the only Superman we've had since Reeve. I guess there was Superman Returns. That's tough. I don't want to get into that now. I need to read a comic book because I promised 30 minutes and I went over. So, if I can figure out how to get it on the screen. Boom. This is where people are supposed to fast forward to. Snatchface agrees with me about Brian Michael Bendis. This is Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, Book 3. And this is your first taste of me reading it. Then I will rehash my bias. I am not a Green Arrow fan. I have been binging the Green Arrow CW series for certain reasons, not because I'm a major fan of it. And there's entertainment to be had in the show, for sure. But it's a lot of problems. I could bitch about that show all night. I'm not gonna. I don't really know much about Green Arrow at all. My bias isn't about the character of Oliver Queen. My bias is just about superheroes that run around with a bow and arrow. I think is retarded. It's not quite as retarded as being a 110-pound nerdy bookworm psychiatrist who carries a hammer and can fight superheroes with it. Like that's about the dumbest thing that's ever been done in comics. I think you know who I'm talking about. But bow and arrow, it's just goofy. It's silly enough that, like, what can a character with a bow and arrow do that the police are not capable of? Oh, but he's got special explosive arrows and gas arrows and arrows that do zip lines and okay, you can't make a thing. You can't have flashbang grenades. You can't just have a zip line. Like, it's silly. It is. I'm sorry. So that was my bias. But like I said before, with the Lego movie, a good story is a good story. And even if you're not hip to the subject matter, you can be won over. And I'm really liking Mike Grell, both story and art. And so maybe I'll be a convert. Maybe I'll walk away as a massive Green Arrow fan. We shall see. Here is the third and final book of Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters. Further disclaimer, this is a cold read. I've never read this book. It's using Comixology. I'm doing panel by panel. I can't see ahead. So sometimes I get the voices wrong. Sometimes I mess up the words because the lettering's off. I apologize. I'm not a professional voice actor. You have been warned. Tracking snow. No. Shoot. Oh, nasty. Oh, yes. This is when last we left off. Black Canary was on her own little private mission to find out some murderer thing or whatever. And Green Arrow let her go off on her own because, he decided she needed to be empowered, I guess, to do stuff. I hate that word. It makes it sound trivial. And she got in over her head. So now she's been caught by this murderer guy. And I like this. I like the fact that she doesn't have the power of woman. She's mortal. Look at this. Oh my God. A man got the better of her and she's in mortal danger and she needs someone to help her. Green Arrow. How refreshing. Sorry. Continuing on. Oh God. Please. Please. Man. I wouldn't want to see this in every comic book, but I do like this experimental paneling and the layouts that Grell does for this book. It works for this book. Oh, Jesus. Is he turning into a dragon? That's not good. We are one, you and I, born of fire, to burn in hell. Are you all right? You are having a nightmare. I'm sure she'll be all right. She's getting the best possible care. I still am. Well, that was the bad lettering. Was he supposed to say I still am first? It's old school lettering. Yep, sorry. She's lost a lot of blood. But except for some cracked ribs and a concussion, most of it is superficial. Right now, she just needs rest. You look like you could use some yourself. By the way, there's a policeman waiting for you. Who is she? I don't know. Bullshit. I don't figure you for the type to get strung out over a Jane Doe. And I don't buy that crap that you told the patrol officer about how you just happened by in time to pull her out of the burning warehouse before it went boom. I saw it happen, Lieutenant Cameron. Ask the lady. Something tells me I can save my breath. What do you think happened tonight? I don't know. That's it? You don't know? No theories about Japanese archers or any of that malarkey? What do you mean? We found 3 men in that warehouse. What was left of them? Just a few scraps of charred bone. But one of them, old guy named Jakowski, had a set of dog tags. The fireproof kind. Strange thing is, we ran a check and couldn't find a military record on him. Now, what do you make of that? I'd say maybe you've got a tie-in to the Robin Hood killings. None of the other victims had military records, even though they were of age for World War II. Or maybe he ordered them out of the Soldier of Fortune magazine. Lots of guys do. Yeah, that's what we figured. There's something you should ask yourself, Lieutenant. If the dog tags are legit, who has the clout to erase military records? And why? Jesus. I don't even want to think about it. You'd better. There's something going on in this town that you're going to have to deal with sooner or later. If you won't, I will. You know, I don't have any evidence that would stand up in court, and considering the conditions of our Jane Doe, I'm not sure it's a bad thing these guys are dead, but I'd bet my pension that you know something about those bodies. We found these when we combed through the ashes at the warehouse. Have a look. What are they? Maybe nothing. Just melted slag. Hell, you should see what the heat did to an Uzi. But I think they might be arrowheads. Guess you have to squint your eyes. Squint your eyes just right, but it looks like 2 different kinds. Unless the lady can fill us in, I guess we'll never know for sure. I guess not. I think I know the style you're talking about. Something like this? Yes, that's it. Wow, that's the work of Horiyoshi, one of the masters. He died some time before 1960. That doesn't sound right. The person wearing this would have had to have been a child when the work was done. Maybe his father was Yakuza. Yakuza? Japanese mafia? Yeah. This is the Yakuza tattoo. No telling which house. The guy wearing this would have been a servant or soldier of the Oyabun. Their version of the Godfather. It's not decorative enough for someone in the upper class. Or an archer on his arm. The dragon denotes wealth, but it's also a power symbol. For instance, a place kicker might wear it on his leg. Or an archer on his arm. Yeah, this lettering is tough. This is a good example, however, of why good lettering is so important. You seen this guy? Yes. Has he got all his fingers? Yes. Why? Jesus. When a Yakuza screws up, he makes an apology to the Oyama by cutting off one joint of a finger. Mostly got at least part of their pinky missing. This guy must be one tough son of a bitch. Or a machine who just doesn't make mistakes. The guy who's wearing it is a woman. Oh, probably a concubine then. A woman couldn't be a samurai. You don't think so? Nah, no way, man. Hey, if you find her, I'd like to have a close look at that tattoo. Me too. You have trained her well. I did not train her for you, Oyabun. You may use her, but you will not own her as you do your pet dogs. She has found the way. Do you know who I am, child? Yes, Oyabun. You are the one responsible for my training. Do you know why? Only what I have been told, that I owe a debt of honor, which I must pay, and that the dragon I bear is a reminder of that debt. I'm getting a little tired of pulling your fat out of the fire, Magnor. My people are beginning to think you're a bad risk. First you attract a snooper, then your warehouse gets blown into kindling. This tends to draw a lot of attention to you, my friend, and to my organization. If it came out that one of the bodies in the rubble was our man... An accident, Osborne. It happens. We use flammables to process the cocaine into crack. That was no accident, and you know it. There's something going on that you're not telling me. I'd say it was to do with your friend Cronin, who got spiked in the neck with an arrow a few nights ago. He's not the first, you know. Hell, there's a string of dead bodies scattered all over the country. Whatever this is about, Magnor, I don't give a damn. Except that it can screw up an operation that's taken us a long time to set up. Company courtesy or no, anything happens tomorrow, I'll see you lose that protection that's kept you in the business lately. Your father was a friend. I loved him like a brother and trusted him above all others. With war looming on the horizon, we were persuaded of the wisdom of performing a business empire in America. Your father was entrusted with $2 million in gold bullion for this purpose. Nothing will happen. My shipment arrives on schedule, and yours goes out on the return. We'll see. Initially, we're committing only a small portion. Take two. Initially, we're committing only a small portion of our resources. A test, if you will. If that works, we'll begin regular shipments, and you'll have full executive protection. My people have been at this for a long time, Mr. Osborne. It's simply a matter of reversing the flow along the pipeline. Nothing to be concerned about. There is one loose end you'd better be concerned about. Your snooper. Her body wasn't found in the warehouse. Now, maybe she got all burned up, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. When war came, he was put into camps with others of our race. The visible enemies who had lived in America as loyal citizens for generations, and whose only crime was that they, unlike Germans or Italian immigrants, were instantly recognizable as Japanese. It was in that camp that men of evil intent discovered your father's secret. They hunted him down after the war, and to his shame, forced him to give up the treasure. If she surfaces, she'll be taken care of. Damn right she will. I'm putting my own man on it. Fires, come in here. Eddie will be in charge of security for the drop as well. Since you seem unable to deal with your own problem, we shall do it for you. Something is catching up with you, Magnor. Something from your past. I've got a feeling someone's measuring you for an arrow shirt. Arrow shirt? That's a good one. I thought you'd like it. What do you want done about the girl? She can wait till after the drop. Then you can start with the hospitals. I hear she was in pretty rough shape the last time anybody saw her. Should be easy to find. Arrow shirt. When he was summoned back to Japan, he asked that he be allowed to commit harakiri, an atonement for his dishonor. Your mother was already dead at the hands of the Gaijin soldiers. You were but an infant when you passed into the care of the Yakuza. Under our guidance, you were nurtured, educated, and trained for one purpose: to avenge your father's shame. I seen her. You know, she gave me $2. Seen who? Her. The dragon lady. She gave me $2. Where did you see her? She was just here. I seen her. Then she was gone. Poof. She gave me $2. No, and she told me to tell you something. Tell me what? It's a secret. I know, but you can tell me. You're the one, ain't you? Yep, I knew right off. Beard, mustache, tight buns. Yep, you're him, all right. Tell me. Okay. Don't get your water hot, boy. Some people. Look, I'm sorry. Just tell me the secret. She said Texaco H414 Hunnert. Yep, that's what she said. Gave me $2 to tell you that. I think it's a hot tip, is what I think. Yes, sir. I'm going to take that $2 and bet it on Texaco in the 4th race at the Hialeah at 1,400 to 1. And I'm going to win $1 jillion. And then I'm going to hire a butler to push this damn thing around. I'm getting too old for this. I seen her, you know. She gave me $2. Because certain records were erased, it may take many more years to locate all the men responsible. Then you will be called upon to pay your debt of honor. Until then, leave in peace. H 4 North Slope, about 6,000 feet. I'm home. I had forgotten how loud the silence can be. The forest closes up around you and makes you a part of it. Hold still for a few minutes, and even the wild creatures forget that you don't belong. But I can't forget. I belong to the back streets and the alleyways now. I am a hunter, and that's where my quarry lives. You go where the game takes you. You're very good. I do hope you won't shoot me just yet. What a pity should we kill one another with our quarry so close at hand. Why did you bring me here? You have been hunting me. At least this way, I don't have to wonder where you are. We are alike, you and I. No, I'm nothing like you. No? You want Magnor for what he did to your woman. I want him for what he did to my honor. How is your vengeance different from mine? I don't know anything about that. Dinah was trying to stop Magnor's drug operation. I'm going to finish what she started. That is why I brought you here. I could have killed you many times. But if I had wanted you dead, I simply would not have saved your life in that warehouse. What do you want from me? The Yakuza deals with many of the same people as Magnor. He will have learned that we will be coming here soon. I would have a pledge from you on your honor. Do what you will with the others, but Magnor is mine. It is not enough that he simply die. It must be by my hand. You think I'll stand by and watch you kill a man in cold blood? I watched you. Those men who were torturing your woman. Could you not have stopped them without killing them? I once said, you haven't the eyes of a killer. They've changed, as you have. You can never go back, nor can I. We must see this through, or we can end it here and now. Keep it running. We won't be here long. We'd better not be. Have your men spread out and give us a secure perimeter here. Unnecessary, but if you insist. What if your own man fires? Oh, he's here. Somewhere. But you won't see him. No one ever does. Until it's too late. Christ, it's cold. Why here, Magnor? Why so far out? Trust me, Mr. Osborne. We've been making 9 shipments a year for the last 5 years without a hitch. The stuff comes in from Central America aboard one of my ships before the ship gets in range of the Coast Guard patrols. It's taken off by a chopper on a regularly scheduled flight. The chopper is never down for more than 1 minute, and no one ever notices. Air traffic controllers are rather underpaid. I usually have one of my men ride up here for the pickup. He meets the chopper, takes the cocaine, and sends us on its way. Only this time, it will be on a patriotic mission. I would have thought laundry run a more descriptive term. How much are you shipping this time? $350,000 of the cleanest cash this side of the U.S. Mint. This stuff is so untraceable, I'm half tempted to lift a few thousand for myself. Not this trip, though. It would be bad for international relations if the first shipment turned up short. Your patriotism is touching. I'm sure your Contra friends will be pleased. Pleased? They ought to be ecstatic. We got our butts fried over this one, but somebody has got to help those people if Democrats are going to have a chance in Central America. Sorry, I read Democrats. Read that again. We got our butts fried over this one, but somebody has got to help those people if democracy is going to have a chance in Central America. Humph. You almost had me believing you for a second. I do it with mirrors. It's showtime, folks. Make it quick. We spotted a mounted ranger patrol a couple of miles from here. Let's see what you've got. Jesus, this stuff must be worth a couple of million. That, Mr. Osborne, is why you needn't be concerned about your shipment. My people wouldn't bother knocking over a nickel and dime operation. Test it. Now let's get out of here. Nice. Was that in the frame before when he was looking and we didn't see? Oh, they don't show the perspective clear enough. That'd be cool. I like when you're able to do that. Show it there, but the person doesn't see it. See, it's fires. What? Zack! Get me the hell out of here. Machine gun fire. Oh, rips an arrow through the other. Yikes. That's a cool shot. I love this 3-panel sequence here. You see the helicopter. She's leading the helicopter with a shot. Lets it go as the helicopter. Just that's so well done, and no dialogue needed, or no narration or anything. You just get it. Hey, wait! Come back! Ah, shit! Down there! Hang on! I'm gonna scrape him off. Where the hell did he go? There's no sign of his body. He's got to be down there someplace. Oh, shit! Boom. Getting rid of the evidence. Yeah. That ought to put a smile on every trout from here to Seattle. You're not going to get away with it, you know. Get away with what? Oh, conspiring with a drug smuggler to keep him in business while using his network to channel funds from the Iran arms deal to Nicaraguan Contras. How am I doing? Okay for TV. Lacks a little imagination, though. It also lacks evidence. You dropped something. No, I didn't. You think I'm gonna lug that stuff down off the mountain, do you? The smoke from that burning chopper will have every forest ranger in the state up here quicker than you can say Smokey the Bear. It's freshly laundered, unmarked and untraceable. and I had only handled it wearing gloves, see? Anyway, can't really see you in testifying in court. The first question, state your name and address and occupation. Your brand of justice only works on the streets. Besides, everyone knows the company is forbidden to operate within the United States. That would be a contravention of statute. In fact, I think you'll find it wasn't here at all. So, what am I supposed to do with this? Keep it. There's more where that came from. Say, what do you put down as your occupation? Hero? Well, hero, you just got a raise. But you better hope the IRS doesn't find out. Those guys have no sense of humor at all. Well, I'm a little surprised. I had heard you were in town, but I didn't realize you were working with the Yakuza. You've done a pretty good job. You and that slant-eyed bitch screwed up a nice operation. Funny how the past keeps coming back. We were in the OSS during the war, in charge of a Japanese-American internment camp in Idaho. Naturally, we conducted an ongoing investigation of all detainees. We didn't call them prisoners, you understand. And we didn't call them concentration camps either. Well, GZ came up with a link between a man named Tomonanga and the Yakuza. Seems he had been given $2 million in gold bullion and sent to the States in '39 to lay the groundwork to expand in this country. I tell you, he was a tough little nut to crack. And we never did get anything out of him. Cut him loose with the rest after the war, and that was that. Then in 1950, we had a reunion of the old outfit. We got to talking about this guy, decided to track him down and take what he had. By that time, it was easier because he had a wife and a baby daughter. After Jankowski worked on the woman for a while, Tomonanga cracked. We went away with $2 million of Yakuza money, mind you. This was in 1950 dollars. Real money. So you infused your influence with the OSS, which grew up to be the CIA, to erase your military records. That explains why when old guys start getting spiked with arrows, none of them had a military service record. You did a pretty good job of disappearing until lately. A couple of the guys used their share to grubstake a small business or a farm. Most, like Gronkowski and the Reverend, just spent it all. Cronin threw in with me and we started this company. Occasionally we'd hire one of the old outfits to keep them happy and quiet. The Yakuza has a long memory, as you may have noticed. Guess you're wondering why I'm telling you all this. Thinking back now, I realize you can't be working with the Yakuza, or I'd already be dead. Therefore, it's simple. You have no evidence to support any accusations. And I doubt Mr. Osborne and his associates may be relied upon to testify against me. Even if you did link me to something illegal, it would be years before the appeals ran out. And being an upstanding member of the community, I would expect a light, possibly suspended sentence. Like it or not, my friend, it's going to be business as usual, and there's not a thing you can do about it. You see, you play by the rules. I don't. You forgot one thing. A little guy named Iggy Brown. I've got a witness who will swear that you gave the order to whack him. I think Lieutenant Cameron is going to enjoy talking to you. That's a lie. Yes, it is. But your alibi, Osborne, can't testify for you without hanging his own butt as part of the Iran arms scandal. I think you're going to hang for this one. Epilogue. Hi. How do you feel? Creaky. How do I look? A little like Rocky Graziano. Well, when I get out of here, I'm going to find those bastards and show them what a real street fighter can do. Too late. It's done. All of them. You want to talk about it? Someday. Maybe. Right now, I want to talk about us. You were right, you know, about marriage and kids. I didn't realize it until this. I'm sorry. I guess I blamed you when it's just the kind of world we live in. I should have been grateful for what we have. I hope maybe someday. Maybe. I love you very much, Oliver. And if I ever decide to hang up the hero business... Hey, don't knock the hero business. I got a hell of a raise today. The end. All right. That was Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, a book that's been around since the, mid-'80s? I've never read it. It's stood the test of time as a perennial classic. So let's see. There's a lot of chat going on. Well, I can never decide whether... I'm going to ask this right now because by the time I get to the end of the chat and we get some answers, hopefully. What would you think is better? If I read the comic and interrupted every couple of pages and did the chat, went back to the comic, back to the chat, more back and forth, or just plow through the comic and then do all the chat at once and keep it more consistent to the read. I see pros and cons to both, but I'm just wondering how you guys, what would be better from your end. Let's see. Snatch Face the Fool says Arrow was good for the first season and a half, and then CW and Greg Berlanti stepped in. Yeah, the first season is definitely the best so far. I just started into season 3, and oh my god, the writing is just I hate everybody. What the idea when you write it when you write anything, you should like the Green Arrow isn't just a guy who runs around. Like, his stories aren't like this all the time. Green Arrow is famous for running around with Green Lantern, for example, who's a cosmic level superhero. And that's where it gets kind of dumb. If Green Arrow stories were always him doing this level of crime fighting and things like that, the bow and arrow part would not be such a detachment for me. In the CW show, as a matter of fact, they kind of made it work for me, the whole bow and arrow thing. Like, it in that first season. And now it's hokey. Hey, look, Green Arrow has... They don't even call him Green Arrow. Arrow has a magic arrow for everything. Oh, like, we need an explosive. Got one. oh, we need an arrow that injects knockout poison, like, oh, got one. Like, it's just, he always has. Anyways, let's see. The picture on the left looks more like the Spectre than Green Arrow. Yeah, I thought that too at first. I was like, why is Spectre in this book? Zack says, why is Ash giving Ollie a sophisticated aristocrat voice? Because he looks like a sophisticated aristocrat? Look at the dude, looks like Errol Flynn. Like, I just figured he's a rich aristocrat. Look at him. How else is he going to talk? Should I make him sound like he's from the hood? Ollie sounds like he only eats Grey Poupon and Perrier with his pinky extended. Well, as someone who only eats Grey Poupon and Perrier with their pinky extended, I am an authority on this, so take it from me. This is how Ollie should sound. Let's see. Zack says, the girl with the dragon tattoo? Aw, snap. Dragon tattoo lady hid in plain sight to spill the tea to Ollie. Nice. Yeah, that was cool. I like how subtle it was. In just one frame you show and moves on. We didn't have to have a word balloon where Ollie's like, it's really her. Like, and pointed out like Mike Grell respects that the audience is going to understand what the heck's happening there. Let's see. Marania says, fitted for an Arrow shirt is a double pun since Arrow was a brand of shirts back in the day. Oh, thanks, Rania. That is some useful knowledge because I did not get that joke. I just went with it. I was like, they're saying this for a reason. Keep going, So now I know that. Now it's one of those things that's like lost in time. Let's face it. I mean, I was around and I was a little kid in the 80s. So I probably wouldn't have known Arrow shirts. I was an Izod kid. I had Izod. Remember Izod, the little crocodiles? I had those. Let's see. I'm just going to come out and say it. He's definitely on cocaine. Melissa says, Batman has a no-kill rule for a reason. That's true. He does have it for a reason. Ronnie says Ollie isn't Batman. That is also true. Ollie is not Batman. Although the CW is not quite sure of that. The CW might be confusing Oliver Queen for Batman. They pretty much write the character as if he's Batman. Let's see. Ronnie says mostly Batman has the no-kill code due to the Comics Code Authority, but yes, he has that code. I don't think he has that code today because of the Comics Code Authority, which has been gone for 20 years. And even then, before it was really gone, the big two were kind of ignoring it. I think back in the day when DC Comics was really targeting kids, which is what comics have traditionally been for, lest we forget, it made more sense to not be running around killing. And they were trying to be wholesome. And DC was very wholesome in the Silver Age. So, yeah, your heroes shouldn't kill. That's the whole... And there's a reason why vigilantism is illegal. There's a reason. Like, when you get down... I mean, I'm not going to get in a big political discussion right now, but there's a reason you have one of your civil rights, or your... Not civil rights, your 10 inalienable rights that the Constitution protects. One of those is a right to due process. Right? Just because someone accuses you of a crime, just because someone may think you committed a crime, does not give them does not give them justification to be judge, jury, and executioner. None of us are fit to do that. And we have a trial for a reason. Sometimes it can look very much like someone's guilty. but they were possibly framed. We make mistakes. And if you just kill people because you think they're the villain and they deserve to die, and then, oops, you were wrong, you can't undo it. And sometimes you can be too close to the problem because you're involved, So being judged by a jury of your peers, all of these things are well thought out ideas that our founding fathers didn't just pull out of their ass. And this is what part of why vigilantism is not tolerated. However, citizens do have, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you exactly how it works legally, but you do have the right to, you can make citizens arrests, let's say, if someone is committing a crime, but you're limited on how you can exert force on someone. Like I said, I don't know the exact details of how that works anymore, but so that's kind of how superheroes have operated. They, would tie someone up and say, "Here, police, they call, come arrest these guys," and yeah, that's boring. I'm just losing myself here. Let's move on. I would just say that Batman today doesn't have the kill policy because once they kind of wrote that into the character, obviously the character's not like, I don't kill because of the comics code. You got to write into the story of why the character is so passionate about this. And so the story goes is like, that's the right way to do things. That's the virtuous way. The character has virtue. And so that's what's stuck. Nowadays, it's like, well, we could have Batman kill because who cares about the comics code? Well, it's like, yeah, but now it'd be out of character because we've established that the character of Batman values life and fights for virtue and doesn't step down to the level of his enemies. Ronnie says, I don't see Ollie doing drugs, especially with what they did to his ward and also to Dinah. Let's see. Love Snowflame, the joke pitch that Corallo had with a perch about Dazzler being a coke-addicted singer. That would be great with Snowflame as her manager. Wasn't Snowflame in that Catwoman book a while back? I forgot about that. You know what's one cool thing about this Green Arrow Longbow Hunters is I'm seeing these characters that I only knew from the CW. Like they have Shadow is in the CW show and Fires is a mercenary on that island. And they use this all way different. But I'm reading this book and I'm like, man, this would have been so much better if they would have followed the Green Arrow Longbow Hunters storyline. Well, not completely, but man, they misused some of these characters. I guess it's nice that you throw these in as like Easter eggs for fans of Green Arrow. I didn't know who anyone was. I was like, oh, Fire's a mercenary guy. I didn't know he was actually from the comics, nor Shadow, but there you go. Let's see. Snyder, Abrams, and Berlanti. I hate all three of them. I hate modern DC too. Melissa, you have so much hate in your heart. Let go of your hate. It's okay. Like it's just goofy TV. I used to get kind of mad at this stuff, and then I realized, back when in the 80s when I watched TV, it was dumb then too. If you go back and watch the Incredible Hulk TV show, it was equally, if not more dumb and inaccurate to the comic than Arrow is. And so I kind of try to remember that. I'm still critical of it. I still make fun of it and go, that's just stupid writing. But I also remember it's not anything new. It's just TV. TV doesn't respect the comic books. They don't respect the source material, so they're making it dumb. They're messing it up. But they've been doing that since Hulk, Spider-Man. Oh my God, Spider-Man. This is the way that it is. Remember the old school Flash TV show? Oh man. Let's see. Snatchface. Snatchface, I agree on Stargirl. Haven't seen Superman Lois yet, but I hear good things from the first couple episodes. I don't remember. I don't know what the comment on Stargirl was, but Stargirl's not good. Snyder Superman is Jesus? Snyder Superman isn't Jesus. Why would you say that? Dude fucking kills Zod at the end. That is absolutely not like Jesus. Let's see. Oh, man. Melissa says, no, he murdered him, and there's a sin. He's no hero, like Professor Geek said. He's a murderer and not the real Superman. Well, he's not comic book accurate Superman, but again, the movie, we all know that. This is a different universe. Plus, the comic book Superman constantly is changing. So, let's see. Zack says, I wouldn't go that far, but no hero is perfect the first time, unless you're Carol Danvers. Zing! I'm just saying that because of all the Jesus imagery Snyder shoves into the movies. It's ridiculous, really. Well, Superman is a Messiah figure, so it's not necessarily out of place in a Superman film, is all I'm saying. Let's see. Oh, Zach Richmond kind of backs me up with the next statement. Snatch says, I was done with the Snyder train after BVS. That and Man of Steel just didn't do it for me. I would kind of, I'm not done with Snyder just because he's made some bad movies. I mean, fuck, Steven Spielberg's made more bad movies than Snyder has, but then he's also made some of the greatest movies of all time. I just prefer to call a spade a spade. I don't know what this idea of like jumping on bandwagons and trains, and it's like, I can go, yeah, Snyder's awesome, except when he made these shitty movies, but his next movie could be awesome again. There's this tendency, I think, to jump on some sort of, I guess, the bandwagon or whatever, and just like, oh, Snyder's made all these bad films, so now I hate him, and I'm going to hate his next film, too, because of that. It's the same thing we're seeing with, like, Rian Johnson, right? Because so many people hate The Last Jedi, they forget that Rian Johnson has made nothing but great films. I'm not going to argue whether The Last Jedi is a rabbit hole, but facts are facts. Tons of people were not happy with Last Jedi, and so now they just write Rian Johnson off as the worst filmmaker ever, and it's like, well, except that every film he makes, aside from Last Jedi, is a great film. Like, so are you just going to do that? You're just going to hate Knives Out because you've decided you hate Rian Johnson? Are you going to hate his next movie after whatever, like, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but if you're just doing it because you're treating him like a brand that you want to disassociate with, I think that's kind of weird. Zach says, if you go back and forth, you can catch comments as they're relevant. Okay, so that goes towards the comment that I asked. That's true. I could do that. I would keep it as is for the people that just want to listen to the comics, says Snatchface. So I think Snatchface is one of those people. Just call it a hunch. Let's see. Ronnie says, it depends on the book. If there's a natural scene break in the book, then break off and check in on us. Otherwise, go to the end of the book and then check then. Okay. Zach Prime also has a good point, especially for people watching this at a later time. Pros and cons, yeah. I figure for people later time that just want to, and that's kind of the reason why I just power through it, because I figure if someone is watching this on a replay and they're like, I just want to catch the story, they don't want to necessarily hear all the breaks. And I'm not going to go, I thought like, I could just go and edit it and just put the story out there and take all the, and I was like, no, that's too much work. Sorry, I got the burps, man. This rock stars. It's tough. Let's see. Zach says, I remember Izod. Kneel before Izod. Wait, that isn't how it goes. Zach says, but does Batman have the Konami code? I'm sure Batman has the Konami code. I have the Konami code. Let's see. Ed says, breaking spine? Sure. Killing? Never. Yes, wish CW gave us a proper Black Canary. Yeah, okay, so I'm a Green Arrow noob. And I caught something in the show. I was like, wait. So the show, spoiler alert, has multiple green or Black Canaries. But neither one of those Black Canaries is the actual Black Canary. However, they're both sisters, and they have a mother named Dinah. What's the deal with that? Is this like some weird, like, we're not going to actually have the real Black Canary in the show, so we're just going to make up some other character, but we're going to have an Easter egg? I don't understand how that works. Let's see. Lord is out of here. Oh, see you, Lord. This is bye. Doesn't mince words. Bye. Melissa says, I love the Hulk show. The Hulk was in King of Queens as Doug Carey's He Lives Next Door. Are you meaning the actor, Lou Ferrigno? And you're plenty welcome to like the Hulk. I'm not telling anyone you shouldn't like the Hulk show. I liked the Hulk show too when I was a kid. But if that show were to air exactly as it is today on the CW, if that was a brand new show, we would be making fun of it. We'd be like, what the hell is this? It's just not that good. And it's certainly, whether you love it or not, you have to, what's not arguable is that it's not comic accurate. I mean, hell, they couldn't even call the main character Bruce Banner. They literally had to change his name because they didn't want to have the name Bruce. Like, it was not accurate to the material. That's fine. And it was, for the 80s, like, the Hulk was doing what it could for the time. I'm just saying that it wasn't like back then we were getting masterpiece comic adaptations and like today the CW sucks. I'm saying we got shitty stuff back then and we get shitty stuff today. It's just not changing. Let's see. Zack says it's not murder to save a family from a homicidal dictator. Are you talking about the Superman movie? I don't know what that's in relation to. He would depower Zod and put him in the Phantom Zone or jail. Well, the problem is, Melissa, in the Man of Steel movie, there was no Phantom Zone. They didn't have a Phantom Zone projector, which is kind of a Deus Ex Machina device. And Zod, how are you going to put Zod in jail? The dude who's literally got the powers of Superman. Not to mention, in that movie, look, Man of Steel is problematic. I wish I could have a sit down with Zack Snyder and just be like, dude, what were you thinking on certain things? First of all, the very first Superman movie should have not had Zod in it. That was a huge mistake. That put as the very first Superman villain. Second of all, in the original Reeves Superman with the Zod, he had two like underlings. It was Zod and two underlings. This movie he literally had an army. There was an army of Supermen versus one Superman. That broke so much to me. How do you deal with those guys? It just. But the first half of that movie was so good. The first half of Man of Steel was so good. It's one of those love and hate for me. This is my opinion. You can have your own. You can disagree. I watched Man of Steel, and up until the point where Pa Kent dies, that movie is great. Then Pa Kent dies. Superman lets him die, which I was like, what the fuck are you? You want to talk about, okay, everyone focuses on the fact that Superman kills Zod at the end. It's like, that's just not, and they can't reconcile that. And that's not Superman to me. And I'm like, well, I'm not, you got a point. But why do I not hear even more that Superman just lets his dad die? Like, that to me is even more egregious. But what do I know? I'm not just some guy. See what I did there? That was an homage. Let's see. Red Sun Radiation Cell. Melissa, there's no Red Sun Radiation Cell in Man of Steel. It's a movie told from a perspective that the world doesn't even know about Superman, much less like there's no Star Lab. Like that doesn't work. They changed the name from Bruce Banner to David Banner because the person who made the show hated the alliteration of the name. Stan Lee loved to give his heroes alliterative names for the most part. Yeah, that's true. Still, the point stands that the TV filmmakers didn't respect the source material. And when you don't respect the source material, you're not going to make a product that is respectful for the source material. If you can't even keep the character's name, why would you keep anything else? Like, everything else is just happenstance. The fact of the matter is that Lou Ferrigno was pretty cool in the role. Like, the successes that Hulk had was actually pretty impressive, given the fact that how much. Yeah. Anyways, military trained Kryptonians versus a MF raised as a human told to hold back constantly. I don't know what you're trying to get there at, Ed, but sure. In the comics, Dinah Laurel Lance's mother was Dinah Drake, and they were both Black Canary. It was a mantle passed on. Oh, okay. Welcome, by the way, Dragon. Didn't see you come in. Dinah. So, in the CW show, obviously one of the characters is Laurel. Is Laurel a throwback? Like, did they just... Laurel Lance, I think, is her name. And then their mother is Dinah. I just feel like, I don't know. I didn't know this history. Whatever. CW is just throwing Mentos in Coke bottles. That's what they're doing. In Superman 2, he depowers Zod with the red sun radiation and puts him in a cell with a light bulb made of red sun radiation. Yeah, that's goofy. Oh, that was my alarm. Yeah, but Superman 2 worked a little different because they had the ability to put him back in the Phantom Zone. That's been a long time since I've seen Superman 2, to be honest. So I'm not going to talk about the details on it because I'll start effing stuff up. Red Sun Rays and Gold Kryptonite. I hate Kryptonite with a passion. So hate Kryptonite. I tolerate regular Kryptonite, but as soon as you start mentioning other colors of Kryptonite, I tune out. I think that is the dumbest thing. Like, oh, look, Superman, he's got the power of a god because he's got sun rays. And then if you put a certain stone next to him, he completely melts. Like, and gold Kryptonite is beyond stupid, in my opinion. Some people like it. Dinah Drake was Black Canary with the JSA, and Dinah Laurel Lance was Black Canary with the JLA. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, right, because you got the Golden Age. But in the CW show, there is no... Black Canary is not Dinah. That's what I'm trying to say. There was Laurel, who is the second Black Canary after her sister died, which was Sarah, right? And isn't their names like Laurel Lance and Sarah Lance? Like, isn't the family name... And isn't their estranged mother just named Dinah? And I think that was just kind of a throwback for fans to be like, oh, and like, I don't know. I'm confused. Like I said, I watched the show and I don't really know any of the backstory. So to me, it's just like, I don't know who any of these are except for the Green Arrow guy who doesn't call himself Green Arrow. And you know, and it's funny too, because there's so many opportunities that they could use the name Green Arrow, because obviously they have him in a green hood, right? They made the point to like he wears green, and like some of the people like the police or whatever talk like mention like, oh, the guy in the green hood. Okay, you're not going to call him the Green Arrow. That sounds awkward. Like no one would just naturally call themselves that. But he doesn't actually have a name. They call him the Hood or the Vigilante. Okay, I'm cool with that. But now there's multiple Arrow people in the show, right? So you've got Roy Harper running around, and he's in a red costume. And so you could easily just have a line where it was like, oh, the Arrow, and someone's like, which one? And they say the green one. Oh, so Green Arrow. And they just kind of like naturally have it flow. So that's why they call him Green Arrow, because they need to identify which arrow they're now talking about. I don't know. Seems weird to me. I don't like the name. I don't like putting colors into characters' names like that. It doesn't. Look, I'm the Blue Beetle. Why aren't you just the Beetle? Like, I'm the Green Arrow. Why aren't you just the Arrow? I'm the Black Canary. Okay, I guess that makes you sound, because you named yourself Canary, so I guess black makes you sound a little tougher. Because Canary is such a stupid. But you see my point? Like, I never understood that. I'm Black Lightning. Now I understand with the black characters, they did that because they were black characters, which was questionable in its own right. Like, Black Goliath. Why isn't he just Goliath? Because he's black. All right. It's like, Black Panther makes sense because there's actually the animal that's a Black Panther. But I don't know. It just, the colors just, I never understood that with, I guess it's just an old comics tradition thing that, to me. Now, if you have multiples, I guess Green Lantern kind of makes sense because now, well, I guess there always was multiple lanterns because they always had the yellows. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Sarah Lance is pretty much the prototype for Alex from Stargirl. Character made just for the show. Okay, very good. I remember Smallville teaching me about the whole rainbow of kryptonite. Red, blue, red, gold. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I hate that. I do not like Stargirl. And you said Supergirl. I read Stargirl for whatever. Sarah, I do not like Stargirl. I'm sorry. I know people told me, oh, it's better than the CW stuff, Ash. I can't finish the first season. And I'm not saying it's like the worst of the worst. I'm sure Batwoman is worse. Supergirl's pretty bad but at least I can watch Arrow and Flash. As bad as they are, and many times, Stargirl, there is no redeeming characters in Stargirl. None. Holy shit balls. Stargirl is, I hate the character Stargirl. Her dad is the most ineffectual beta male. Like, no wonder you were always a sidekick. Like, you just, and then her teenage friends. Sorry, I just don't like that show. Maybe if I were 12 years old, I would like Stargirl. Maybe. I guess I don't know. Gold Kryptonite and whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow depower Superman permanently after he kills Superman, gave up his powers after he killed Mr. Mxyzptlk. Sure. I recognize gold kryptonite exists. I just hate it. I think there should just be kryptonite, period. That's it. Just kryptonite, and the radiation from his own planet poisons him. I'm all okay, cool. I just, even kryptonite itself, I think is a bad. It's just a bad plot device. Like, oh look, the Lex Luthor's got kryptonite and he can. It's like, It's lazy. It's lazy. And then all the multiple kryptonites just get goofy to me. But some people like it. So, I'm just giving you my opinion. It's not the end all. Different strokes for different folks and all that. Right. Maybe CW Laurel Lance is using her middle name. Or they just changed for the first name because they like Laurel better. Probably. Dinah's not a name that's like very modern and hip, right? And Laurel is one of the main characters of the show. It's all fine. I just thought it was interesting that the mother was named Dinah. Like, it was like, oh, okay. I said Supergirl, Stargirl's far superior. I don't know. I don't know which is worse. Supergirl is not a great TV show, but I don't hate Supergirl. Like, the character doesn't make me want to punch her and lock her in a basement and never let her out. Like, that's... Stargirl is insufferable. She seriously needs some parenting. She's an awful, awful child. Zero respect for parents. The whole show is and that's one of the things that bothers me in general about CW shows is their anti-parenting. This is one of my problems actually with the new Superman Lois show. Is this total disregard for parents. Parents are bad. So when parents must be shown in a good light, they must be completely ineffectual. They must never discipline their kids. They must always let the kids do whatever they want. And the parents can just sit there and care about them and go, oh, I'm so worried about my kid. I just love him. And I think that they're the best. And that's all the parents are ever allowed to do. They're never allowed to correct them when they're wrong, to tell them they're making bad decisions, to teach them to do anything different. Parents are the enemy. They could just sit there and be yes men to the kids. And then the kids go off and do stupid shit, just like they did in the Superman show, which is totally predictable, just like they do in Stargirl. That girl, dude, she takes her dad, she finds this cosmic staff in the attic. Her dad catches her and goes, whoa, 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 don't touch this. So what does she do? That night, she sneaks out with this cosmic weapon, blows up some dude's car at a drive-in movie theater, could have killed people, and then comes back and she gets a talking to, like, I told you not to take it. What were you thinking? Blah, 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 And then what'd she do? The next episode, she goes and steals it again. And then it goes and ends up eventually fighting the evil villains. And you're just like, I go back to my childhood and I imagine, like, if I, like, found a shotgun in my house that I didn't know. And my parents were like, oh, that's a gun. You can't touch it. That's a serious thing. Don't you ever touch it. It's not a toy, whatever. Now, normally, actually, parents should have that shit locked up. But let's just say, and I go, oh, okay, yeah. And then that night, I sneak out of the house with the shotgun and I start shooting up the town. And then I come back, my parents find out that I did that, and they just go, I told you not to do that. Like, what? It's just the most ludicrous, stupid. I hate it. And I just hate how the Stargirl character argues with her dad as if he's the bad guy for daring to, like, tell her she can't take his cosmic staff out and just do whatever she wants. And then she goes in the League of... He takes her to the Justice Society headquarters to try to teach her finally a lesson of, like, where she comes from and all this stuff. And what does she do the next night? She sneaks out and goes to the Justice Society headquarters and steals all of their equipment and stuff, including, like, some dangerous weapons. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? This girl, seriously, like, some corporal punishment needs to be instilled on that girl. That's all I'm saying. Did you finish the season of Stargirl, says Zack? No, I couldn't. It was so insufferable. I was like, I can't go on. I hate this character so much, and her friends are stupid. Oh, God, it's so cliche. Oh, look, it's the black girl who's the smartest character. She's the smartest person in the world. Look. Oh, my God. And there's only one boy allowed on the new Justice Society team of kids, Kid Justice Society. It's so stupid. And of course, he's just toxic male. That should be his character name. It's like toxic masculinity. Like everyone is a caricature. It's the one boy, just constant rage machine, cannot control, wants to commit violence to everyone. You're just like, this is so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Smallville showed parents better. Yes, Smallville had its problems, but it did not have those problems. Zack says, I feel like if you finish the season, you wouldn't have these opinions. Why? How could the season change these opinions? Can it improve? Can the character be less stupid? Maybe. But she still did all these things. She's a terrible kid. And I got pretty far into the season. They did make Stripesy, whatever, like somewhat better. But it's just it's bad. It's bad. And I know there's people probably talking to you guys. Some of you love the show. And it's tough when someone shits on things that you think are good and great. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my intention. I definitely know. Look, whenever you hear me bitch about something that you go, man, I love that. Now just remember, I know how you feel. I'm the guy who defends Last Jedi. It's all good. I'm not shitting on you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for liking the things you like. Trust me, I know how it feels. I can't even talk about Last Jedi because I get a mountain of people jumping on me. It's just opinions. I'm expressing to you what I find as a big problem. If that is not a problem to you, if you're like, it doesn't bother me, great. Like, that's right. You know, like, it's like Melissa. Like, she's got certain problems with the way, like, say, Zack Snyder did Superman. I don't have the same problems as Melissa, so it doesn't bother me on the same level, but it bothers her. It's just opinions. So hopefully we can all walk away and we just understand that we all see the world a little bit differently than each other. Zack says, I'm just saying, as a JSA fan, I thought it was accurate. I don't know what's accurate. The fact that Stargirl wields a cosmic staff that's not actually cosmic in the JSA, or that apparently you can be a high school kid that trained a little bit of boxing and you can step into the shoes of was it Wildcat, or you can just put on, I guess you could put on the hourglass. I guess that gives anyone strength, but none of it does. These characters aren't from JSA. Well, I guess maybe some might be, but I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it more. I've said everything that I can say. I wanted to like Stargirl. So many people were like, "Oh, it's so much better," and I'm like, "Cool, man. I want to like all these shows. It's not like I want to hate any of them. I don't have an agenda. I really hope that Zack Snyder, his next movie is going to be great. I agree. Man of Steel was problematic. Batman versus Superman was even more problematic. I never saw Justice League, but that sounds like it was a complete train wreck. I'm hopeful that there's some good to be had out of the Snyder cut, and I'm hopeful that whatever Snyder does next can be great. I want it to be good. I don't want anyone to make a movie that I hate, but I'm not going to ignore it when I do hate it just because of that reason either. Zack says it's all good. I enjoy hearing different takes. I'm just trying to understand how you arrive at that point. And I'm doing my best to try to explain it, but not always do a good job. Anyways, it is now after midnight. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen in and enjoy the ride. This was the final issue of the Green Arrow. So starting Tuesday, we'll be on a new book, and we're going to be doing Jupiter's Legacy. Mark Millar take on his own original creations. So hopefully Melissa will be able to enjoy it because it won't mess up any characters that she's, holds dear to her heart. I have heard really good things from people, such as even Eric Breen himself really liked Jupiter's Legacy. I know it's also a book that our boy Zack, Diversity in Comics Matter with our boy Zack and Luna, however you know him as, also I believe really liked this series. I'm a Mark Millar fan. I've never read it. There's a Netflix show coming out soon, so we'll get the jump on it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. There was 4 series in total that he's done. I'm only going to do one of them, so it won't spoil the whole show. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully you'll join me on Tuesday. Just thanks for hearing my opinions. Thanks for listening to me. Really, I hope no one took anything negative and was like, F you, Ash, you're shitting on my show. Like, I'm just being opinionated. That's what I'm at. Ronnie says, I'm glad you took my recommendation and read Longbow Hunters. I have been asking for recommendations since I started doing this, and I'm serious about it. I don't always take every recommendation, but I do really want those recommendations. Some of the books I don't do simply because they're just not fitting for the show. Like Venkman, for example, he's like, read Batman Cataclysm. I'm like, dude, it's 18 issues. It's like way too long. It's got to be shorter format. But I did read other suggestions that Venkman had said, like the Spider-Man. That was something. Zack says, I'm going to start calling myself your boy Richard. I guess you're in a weird predicament because Zach's real name is Richard, and your name is Zack Rich. Oh man, maybe you're this. Maybe you're that. Maybe you're him. I've never seen you two in the same place. Weird. So, anyways, back to Longbow Hunters. I take them seriously. So if you guys have more suggestions that's fitting for the show, please throw them my way. I want to read good comics here. I do have fun. I'm going to read some more America eventually. I like to roast some stuff, but mostly this is about having fun with good comics, sitting around and get to chat, letting you guys throw your opinions out there, and educate me on stuff. Like Marani has educated me on a few things. Some of you else, I can't remember everyone, talk to me about Black Canary, things I didn't know. That's one of the benefits of doing this. Why I do this show, I don't make anything here. This is just my chance to hang out with you. And, I got to read a good story too. I wouldn't have probably read Longbow Hunters if it weren't for this show. I probably would have eventually someday, but there's so many books to read. And I'm just flapping at the gums. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you Tuesday. And also, I'm going to be starting a hangout stream on Wednesdays of some sort. 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern. So I invite you to look out for that. Come part of it. Some of you guys are members of the Discord channel, and some of you have been given live stream access because you've expressed interest in streaming with me in the past, or you actually have streamed with me in the past, which means you'll have access to the live stream channel on the Discord. So if you see it, that means you have access. If you don't see it and you would like access and you want to be part of the hangout stream, come reach out to me on Discord. I want to do kind of a big, more panel hangout where it's like more of like a party format where we're discussing whatever topics, but not just me. I want to hear what other people have to say and more than chat. So get in touch with me, and look forward to that on Wednesdays. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, you, Zack, get your mic fixed.